Welcome to the Games Revealed podcast. Join our revolving group of guests as we explore the world of video games, hardware, and general nerdiness. From the Steam Deck to playing your favorite games in the haunted woods, we cover fun and entertaining topics that any gentle gamer can enjoy. Welcome to the Games Revealed podcast. I am James and also the Brink, and we are one community. The whole thing that I always do at the beginning of a lot of my videos. And with me today in this podcast episode, it is going to be High Tech Low Life. He and I have followed each other for over a year on this whole YouTube adventure, and is an awesome person. So, and he is quintessential to, like, if you've ever seen any of the Steam Pal videos, any of that type of stuff. He's the coordinator. He is the person that gets it done.
Hi, James. Thanks for having me here. Is that what you say at the beginning? It's Brink, and then it's Brink and Games Revealed, and then we are one. Is that what you're saying?
So a little controversial. So yeah, I do James and also the Brink, and we are one. And then sometimes I'll say community because people thought, oh, well, he's doing we are one, like some weird stuff or what. It was something that I did early on that people like, oh, this is cool. We like this. So I'm like, okay, I'll continue doing it as a little branded piece of me. And then I've said one community because I want to emphasize that we have a good community and not make it so that people thought it was some weird Q thing or something
Cult.
like that. Because I think in the QAnon kind of stuff, not to get too political or this early on, they have some stuff like that. Apparently, I did not want to be associated with it.
Wow. Why? I didn't know that they did that.
That's what I guess. I looked it up a little bit, and I'm like, potentially. It was enough to where I'm like, nah, I'm going to be a little careful with that. So, High Tech Low Life, who are you a little bit?
Well, as you said earlier, I am a Steam Deck content creator. Though I'm recently trying to branch out into other different stuff, like game reviews and stuff. Like, I actually put out a video earlier about a game, a roguelike that just came out like yesterday, I believe, called Blaze Blue Entropy Effect. No sponsorship, by the way. It's not sponsored, by the way, but I just
Did you get a key?
But yeah, I did get a key.
Nice.
But yes,
Sorry, but
yes, I have.
oh yeah, but that is always nice to get those and not have to pay whole work. And I only call that out because I'm sure someone that has like 100,000. Oh yeah, they're going to be getting those keys. But when you're at this level, you're like, it's nice not to have to pay for something that I get a review. I like it.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been trying to expand myself outside of the Steam Deck stuff. Not because I got bored of the Steam Deck or anything, but because I like to talk about other stuff. I wouldn't want to be put in a box, you know?
Yeah, that's me 100%. And you'll hear us talk about this a lot in the bonus level of the episode. So if you're a Patreon or YouTube member, you can go check it out over there. It should go live about this time if you're in that portion of the content membership stuff, whatever. But it's interesting that you say that because I don't get bored of Steam Deck content. I'm just bored of the news and creating some stagnant content. I feel it's a little boring, but I will definitely say there's a couple things going on that it's not Steam Deck related, but they did cover Steam Deck, but it is not too boring. And it's, I think, interesting to talk about. And that is the Linus Tech Tip stuff going on right now.
Oh, yes. So are you familiar with what's going on with Linus?
I am a little bit. I've been watching stuff on it, but I'd love to be educated, and that's why I brought you on High Tech Low Life. Okay, honestly, you're the one that wanted to do come on to we're both at fault for this. I want to be educated on this though because I'm curious. I'm usually more reserved with my opinions on people. I don't want to cancel people too early on. I'm not saying this is a cancellation or anything like that. A cancellation, all in reality, is just people don't approve of what you're doing, and so they stop consuming. But I am curious.
So I will say I am a longtime fan of Linus Tech Tips. I've watched him since I was a kid, and he's like one of the creators that like really got me into building my own PCs and stuff. And like before then, I mean, I was always interested in gaming PCs. I've always heard that they were way better than consoles, but like most of my life, I've been a console gamer, to be honest.
Oh, okay. I've been both. All my friends were console gamers, and that's what they could kind of afford. But I always had a PC. Back all since StarCraft 1. Sorry, StarCraft 1 was probably one of my first games I think on the PC.
but yeah, Linus Tech Tips has always been like a major inspiration, even back before he established Linus Media Group. I've actually found, I think one of, I think his first video I watched of his that was like for a PC case called the Landboy Air, and it's like it kind of looks like a Tonka truck. It's very bright. It's very bright yellow.
Mhm.
Yeah, remember when PC cases used to like have colors?
Oh,
Like yeah,
I I miss old PCs and also hate some of the old PCs.
but yeah, this one it's a modular case and it had like perforations like all around the sides, all of it. So like yeah, airflow. But yeah, basically what happened is that Linus Tech Tips recently was called out by Gamers Nexus, who, as you know, Gamers Nexus is a fellow colleague of Linus's and has been featured in a couple of his videos as well. And a lot of people say Gamers Nexus is like the end all be all of PC part journalism because he makes a lot of great content and he does a lot of testing. And heck, he's even tested the Steam Deck too. And he did a really cool test with the Steam Deck, like showing, like you've seen it,
Mhm.
right? Yeah, yeah. But anyways, he made a video calling out Linus Tech Tips for a couple of reasons. The first of which was that he called Linus Tech Tips for erroneous data that was published. Which I mean, we all make mistakes, right?
Oh,
It's only air,
100%.
yeah,
That's the I
yeah.
yeah, yeah, we all make so many mistakes, and it's just, certain ones can get you in a lot of trouble.
Like humanity is flawed. Like obviously, but here's the thing though. It's not just that Linus made mistakes, it's that he made mistakes, found them, and then didn't take the time to fix them for whatever reason. Like one WAN show video quoted him as saying that he would take up like 200 to 300. I forget the number, but it would take up X amount of dollars of company time to have to go back and retest and fix all of that. In which that's a pretty egregious reason to not fix your charts, right?
I think they're at the level that I'm fine if they make mistakes, I'm okay with that, but if they're trying to be the first out to beat everyone else and to, steamroll over other content creators and try to grow their company, because here's the thing, I do think that we should all be cordial and be nice to each other, but there's only so much time a person can watch YouTube and whatever it is in a day. So we are competing on the waves and all that. They are so big and they want to grow so big that they're in some ways doing this, and it's detrimental, I would say, because they're getting there first, but in the wrong way. And therefore, and then the people that try to do it the right way aren't, and so they're not gonna get as many views. Usually who's ever first, especially in this type of thing, usually will get more views, depending on the thumbnail too. The thumbnail's a little bit of a factor in that too, but
Yeah, I mean, but honestly, Linus doesn't even have to be first. I mean, he's big enough to where even if he releases like a review of like a product a week after it releases, people will flock to his review to watch it.
they will. But
He's
you
he's at that
he
level.
is, but why does he make so many mistakes, and why does he try to get stuff out so fast? And they've even been quoted as trying to get content out too fast, not actually like working on their content properly. They get content out too fast. That's to be competitive. I just don't see any other reason.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is, I
I,
guess. But that's
I will say I like Linus Tech Tips. I've watched him for a very long time. I'm about the same age as him, so I kind of jive with him on that. And I like his stuff. And this has changed my mind a little bit about him. And one of the things is don't worship your heroes, I guess, or sometimes your heroes will turn out to be maybe not perfect. And I'm not saying anything about Linus. It's just it is an interesting t- um, situation that they got themselves in over there.
yeah, it's a bit of a pickle, man. I mean, I don't envy Linus's position. I've always thought, oh, I want to be just like Linus. Well, no, I don't want to be like Linus right now. Linus is going through the time of his life right now.
He
But anyways,
He is, and it's not like he's handling it okay, better than some YouTubers that did certain songs and whatnot and did egregious things.
oh
Uh,
god,
but he still defended a thing and be like, "Hey, He should have waited a little bit and had some PR because he needs a PR. He needs PR, honestly, um, to actually handle this because it just didn't look good. And I feel like it made it worse. His response. I've watched the response a little bit, but what like I didn't watch the whole thing though. Could you?
So that wasn't actually Linus's first response to
Oh,
Gamers Nexus's video. His first response, well, all right, so I got to finish talking about Gamers
go for it.
Nexus's video.
Go for it.
So another thing too, aside from incorrect data and whatnot, another thing Linus apparently did was, and no, not apparently, he did do this. He got a prototype water block from a company called Billet Labs. They sent it to him. It was intended for a 3090 Ti, and he installed it on a 4090, and he didn't get the result that he wanted. And he just kind of told the audience that it's not worth getting. I remember seeing this video. I didn't really think much about it because,
Yep.
yeah, but he said it wasn't worth getting, and yeah, it's a bad look. But that's not all though. That's not all though. That prototype, he auctioned it off to someone very recently at LTX.
Wasn't it for charity
Yeah.
though?
It was for charity, which I think arguably makes it worse because he roped some other like third party that wasn't involved as
I think
well.
it makes it better if it would have been pocketing it, like, he's, like, has it in his pocket, you see the cash in his, back pocket. I think that'd be worse.
Oh, yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're
Yeah.
saying, but I think, the whole thing it's a massive headache to have to deal with because, yeah. So on the flip side, though, he sold it to a private individual as opposed to like a competitor that was there. So there's less concerns of there being IP theft.
Mhm.
But that was like one of the major concerns that Gamers Nexus brought up before it was brought to light that no, he didn't sell it to like a competing company.
Mhm.
Because how messed up would that be for your life's work? So now Linus responded and he defended a lot of it, including the fact that he thought that product was awful, despite the fact that he tested it on the wrong GPU. And further,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a really I can send you it later down the line if you want the forum post. I don't know if he's deleted it or not, but let's just say it was like a big nothing burger, and then Gamers Nexus made a second video lambasting that apology. And then that prompted Linus to make a full video. And yeah. So the full video explains a lot of things. It outlines what Linus wants to do in the future. Essentially, he wants to, so effective immediately, they're halting all production on videos that are being made this week.
Mhm.
So you're not going to see any Linus Tech Tip videos, nothing from, uh, with quick bits or short circuit game. Yeah.
That's
Nothing from any of ancillary channels that
that's an
exist.
interesting choice, though. Like, I feel like he should just not he should step away from the videos and let the other people do it if they want, but I don't know.
Well, he's not even like the CEO of Linus Media Group anymore. That's another guy, Taryn.
I've
Not
been in these positions at tech companies. He's he's the boss. He just doesn't wanna handle all the minutia of the day to day, and so he's handing that off to someone else, which is good. Like, I actually thought that was a really good decision. It's just, yeah, it's such a hard fine line that it can get him into some trouble later down the road.
Well, I suspect that Linus knows that part of it isn't just him doing because I'm pretty sure he's not the one demanding. Like, I'm not sure he's not the one. He's not the only one making these decisions to rush videos out. I'm sure that's like a combination of some of the heads at like the various different channels, right?
Um, uh,
I'm not entirely sure how LMG operates, but I suspect that's what it is too.
I
So
really think he's just pushed really hard and wanted to grow. He has a business mindset of growth. I've watched a lot of his videos. It's very indicative. That's why I kind of put a little bit on LT. I like Linus Tech Tips and Linus Media Group, LMG. I like it. It's just the more and more I've seen them and the way they're growing and all that, it's a little off putting that they don't slow down a little bit. And this what's happening is kind of um it's bound to happen if you don't slow down and really do your research and try not to be the first to publish stuff. That's the mistake that I make sometimes. I'll publish stuff too quick, but I'm a one person team that's trying to get especially a year ago, I was trying to get stuff out daily. So just because I
All
needed
right.
the growth. But yeah, continue.
Okay. Also, here's the thing. You know the apology video that's out there right now.
Hmm.
That's actually a revision of the first apology video they uploaded for exactly 14 hours ago.
Okay.
Like, yeah. So they have, you know how they have the feature where you can re-upload videos in place.
If you have an old enough account, right?
Yes. Well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Gamers Nexus is old enough, and I'm pretty sure he has that feature.
Okay.
Oh, he does. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have that feature.
Uh,
He explicitly mentioned that he doesn't have that feature, despite having like 2 million subs,
yeah,
which
but
is which is kind of insane to
I
me.
did watch the video enough. He doesn't have a rep though. And so, that
Is that what?
that
Is
could,
that what that is?
yeah, he doesn't have a representative from YouTube, which is bizarre that that he doesn't have a rep from YouTube to reach out to and all that. I don't know if that actually matter. Maybe he needs a little bit of upgrades behind the scenes, but I don't know how long Gamer Nexus has been around. I just know that Linus LTT, that channel's been around. It's a really old channel.
It's just a crazy thing to think about. And a channel as big as Gamers Nexus, like I would be completely fine with having 2 million subscribers. Like honestly, I like and the fact that he doesn't even have that feature is baffling to me. And it sounds like a feature that'd be useful for not just like people in like the millions of subscribers, but like us too. Like, I uploaded a Tears of the Kingdom video. Guess what though? I forgot the music. and
That's
it's
what
and
you do. Like your videos have music in them. Mine, I've toyed around with that, and I'm sure my viewers hated it. Um, but I've uploaded stuff with the wrong graphics where I'm like, oh, I duplicated this graphic over here, and it says the same thing. And I released it. I had to either on one where it wasn't too bad. I've had to like do corrections and like the description and stuff like that, and then watch people always comment and ugh. And then others I've just learned from. I just delete them and then re-upload them later. It would be really nice to just have a re-upload. Especially, I don't think it'd be that hard to do with a feature if they just um analyze it. So like the new one you uploaded, oh yeah, this is not much different. So that you don't do these weird, like you upload something really big and then swap it out for, let's, say like CP or something weird, that I could just imagine someone trying.
like it's yeah, like I could have replaced my inferior Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom video with a better version with the music that I set for it. And I can't do that because my video is already done so well, right? Like
Hmm.
I don't want to delete a video that's made like 40,000 views. That's insane. That would be insane to think about, right? Why would I want to do that? Why would I ever
40,000.
want to do
Oh,
that?
wow. Yeah, you wouldn't want to delete that.
Oh, sorry for I'm sorry for bragging, but
Brink over
it's just
here.
it's just that's a feature that can be useful for anyone. Like I can see some bad actors like using it maliciously, et cetera. But like, how's that any different from like getting your account hacked and then someone deleting all your videos and then replacing it with like a Tesla cryptocurrency stream? Yeah, kind of what happened to Linus Tech. Wow.
Hmm.
Well, everything goes back to Linus. I,
Everything goes back to Linus. Well, he's old enough. He's very well established in the YouTube world and in all this. So I'm not surprised he has that feature. And I've heard of the feature, but I mean, I have one of my channels that's like 10 years old, and I don't think I have that feature on it. But it's not very many subs. It was experimental kind of stuff.
I get it. I get it. Honestly, man, I just want the feature. I just want the feature. Okay, YouTube, give me and all the Steam pals that feature, and we'd be set for life.
I will go a step further and demand them to actually add more features that are useful. Um, Promoting my own video with ads money is fine and all, but that's a feature that was always there. It just was hidden a little bit. They like brought it out a little bit into like in the UI, and I'm like, this isn't new though. You've always been able to like promote it. You just had to do it, like, I believe, in an external Google program, and I want more tooling. Like streaming kind of sucks on YouTube, and a lot of other things just aren't for how much money they have. And as a developer, I know like they have archaic systems, but like, come on, come on, we can get there.
Well, I mean, it is what it is, man. So there's more to Linus's apology too. He says that he contacted Billet Labs and they made an agreement to ultimately Billet Labs just agreed to compensate because they've already moved past the prototype. Yeah, there was a bit of a delay in development because they didn't have their best prototype, but they moved past it and they decided to get a monetary payment. And they also said that they don't have faith in Linus Tech Tips shipping their 3090 that they also sent out, 39 Ti that they sent out to Linus as well.
Did they?
They sent him a 3090 Ti to test with the water block too.
Yeah. I mean, if there's no, I will have to say, if someone sends me something and they don't say they want it back, I will keep it. I'm assuming they said they wanted it back, right?
Yeah, they said it twice.
Okay.
They and Linus both times said that they would, and then all of a sudden it got auctioned off at
What?
LTX, which
And once again, high growth organizations, kind of like LTT, like L or LMG, like what's happened there, communication breaks down. I can almost guarantee that fell through. Like it wasn't purposeful. It fell through the cracks. Doesn't make it right though, especially for a startup. They then another reason why they need to be more careful is that and what Gamer Nexus talks about, it hurts startups. You can kill people. Like if you are a startup and you're like LMG and you started from nothing. Now just do some self-reflection. If you go and hurt someone and put them out of business because of something you did, wouldn't that make you feel horrible and you'd want to try your best to not do that again in the future? I'm hoping that's what they do take from this.
well, I mean, it, I I sure hope that they do too. There's another like smaller company that they also hurt from just a bad video that they made. You ever heard of the Punch Mouse?
Yes, and I did see that.
Yeah, so they didn't remove the plastic off of the like feet, and the traction was really bad because it was plastic and not like whatever the material on your mouse feet is. I don't. What kind of do you know what material it is? Because I don't.
Material? The like plastic,
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's not like plastic. It feels a lot better than like the plastic slip, and it glides a lot better. But yeah, they published a video about that mouse that they were giving out to the whales, and the guy in Short Circuit said that he wouldn't recommend it to anyone, and yet Linus was giving away to like okay, so they have a package that you can spend $10,000 on for a ticket, which
Mhm.
includes like an entire gaming PC setup that's worth at least $5,000, among other things too. And part of that package included that mouse. So it seems like a really awkward situation where they give like their viewers a product I don't
Mhm.
want to say they don't recommend because it was just the opinion of a guy that didn't feel it correctly.
I mean, and we all make mistakes. I mean, I've made mistakes, but I don't know if I've made anything like that. The appealing thing. I think here's the thing. I'm gonna relate it to this. PC Gamer, IGN, all these companies have been around for decades. They have a different process. Now, people don't trust them, but they do really well. So the loudest people are sometimes not the people that are the consumers. Let's just say that with this type
Yes.
of stuff. LMG needs to become a little more structured like PC Gamer and IGN potentially in the sense of really make sure that people that are doing hardware reviews are being rigorous and just doing their due diligence and maybe even having it be um, double checked by one or two other people, or you have one or two people doing the review. So something like this doesn't happen. Or reach out, say, hey, this doesn't function like it's supposed to, instead of like um, not giving them the benefit of the doubt and asking them, just going ahead and saying this is garbage, where it's like, "Mm, I don't think they would be able to release something that's garbage, like as much as like what was going on with that mouse. And so, yeah,
Well, I mean, yeah, I understand making mistakes. There was this one time I was building a PC.
Mm,
I forgot to peel the plastic off of a cooler.
I know where
And
this
I
is
was
going.
wondering why. Well, I was wondering why my computer was blue screening, and then I found out. But like, I didn't get paid to make a video about that. Heck, I didn't even make a video about that. It was my mistake and my own mistake, and I probably could have taken that to the grave with me if I hadn't just told you about it.
Well, it's a common one. Let's be fair.
Yeah, it's a
It's
it's
a
a
common one,
it's a
and
tough
it's
one.
good for people to know. Honestly, it's a very big learning piece. Like if you're having issues with your computer blue screening right after you built it or changed out the heater and all, just double check your cooling. That's usually what it is.
There's also the fact that the original version of the apology video included, in jokes about. Well, I think people had issues with jokes in the video to begin with,
Mhm.
but then they had issues with jokes like in jokes like segues to their sponsor,
Oh
and then
yeah.
Yvonne mentioning that D brand offered to pay them for sponsorship for the apology video,
Here's the
which would
thing though. That is part of his brand is being spicy in the sense of like being a little rude, being a little jovial to a overextent. And D brand uh, has gotten a lot of flack, but D brand, that is their brand, is to be kind of a D bag kind of thing. In some ways, in some
yeah,
ways. Um,
yeah, but then
but
like
yeah.
Colleen Ballinger's brand was singing, and then she sung her apology video, and I don't think that made it any better, despite being on brand.
Agreed, but yeah, I like that you brought that up. Yeah, but I do think it's slightly different, but yeah, it was it the now if it would have been someone calling him out, like, "Hey, like you did this like some of the other allegations coming out, there's some sexual harassment allegations coming out." Like now if they did an apology video to that person and then had it also monetized, then I say, "Oh, yeah, 100%." Like he's screwed. Playing around a little
Yeah,
bit with the gamer nexus thing wasn't like good, but
I mean,
I
yeah, I
don't know why
understand. That's not as
I don't
extreme.
know why I'm
It's not as
defending him. I don't know
extreme.
why. That's not the part that bothered me. It was just, the not having and I didn't fully once again, I haven't fully finished watching the videos. Um, but was he very, concerned about the damage he did to these companies?
I mean, yeah, and he was very concerned about the damage that was done to LMG as a whole. I mean, I think I think this is the part where we talk about the allegations from Madison, a former LMG employee. So, do you know? So you know who she is, right?
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I've never met her before,
I
but she seems alright.
I've never met anyone at LMG, so
But like my thing here is that allegations were made, and I've seen some of her accusations, and honestly, I've read the entire thread. It's a really long thread.
it is. I've read
Also,
parts of it.
yeah, she's talked about how she's had a negative experience at LMG before, like
Mhm.
this massive expose though. So it's not like she's just coming out of the woodwork to kick Linus while he's down or anything like that. It's not like that. I know some people like to think that it is.
Yeah, people want to think, "Oh, they're just capitalizing all this." No, the thing is people that are hurt will sometimes take the time because they feel like they have a little bit more, they can add more clarity or they feel a little bit more protected because, "Oh, there's this other thing going on." They can come out and do it. That's why you usually see, like, pile-ons almost at times, and so it makes it
I mean, if
dangerous for LMG too.
I mean, it's a good opportunity for her to finally get her word out there
Mhm.
because there are crazy fans out there. And, it's kind of ridiculous to think about anyone being a crazy fan of like a tech channel on YouTube of all things. But they're out there. And I've heard a lot of things about how someone that LMG fans have like driven to, I don't want to like to like there's a content creator that allegedly like ended his life unfortunately due to the fact that, well, essentially they bought a YouTube badge from the NCIX thingy, right? Like an
Mhm.
NCIX auction. They bought a YouTube play button, and Linus was demanding it back. And it seemed like they were doing it cordially, but the fans really went at it at the other content creator. I think his name was Mind Drop or something like that.
Mm. I don't know about this. This is new to me. I So I have been on, Linus Tech
Well,
Tips Reddit, and that is pretty, like it's either super fanboy or, like, they're, like, against him. But yeah, what were you gonna say?
Actually, it was Mind Shop, but
Oh,
yeah, essentially, and the father made a very public post on Linus Tech Tips subreddit about a year ago, February. It reads as such: "My son built a tiny YouTube channel named Mind Shop years ago. Uh, Due to legal issues with his MCN, he was not able to get a silver play button. I brought him to the NCAX bankruptcy auction to buy one in hopes of engraving it with his channel name. We bought it from the auction fair and square, yet you demanded we hand it over to you. We said no, and you got your fans to harass my son and flooded his channel with dislikes and hateful comments. He stopped making videos, fell into a deep depression. He wasn't good with school. He was always bullied, but found love in making videos. He expressed a desire in making more videos. I encourage him to continue. We hoped your toxic fans would finally leave us alone. I created this Reddit account for him to use in the future. He posted another video last year after a long hiatus, but your fans still continued to harass him. He ended his life in August. My wife couldn't bear to have another Christmas without our son, and she ended her life just before Christmas. I am alone now. I have nothing left. I hate you, Linus Sebastian. You built your empire, destroying the lives of others. I do not know why people idolize you. You are a monster."
is this verified? Is this like real? Because I know some people just like to be a thing on the internet, but that's pretty bad.
Linus himself responded to it. And I'm still not entirely sure of the validity of this.
I've heard,
And my,
I've actually, now that you've mentioned, I have heard a little bit about this, but yeah, no, it's, people are unstable. Sometimes you can't blame other, like, it's really hard. You want to find blame in someone else that could have triggered something. It's very hard. And mental health like, if this is in America, mental health is a very hard topic right now. That'd be so hard. I would not want to be in that situation. I don't.
so
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, back to the whole Madison thing. I mean, that explains why she didn't go in detail until now, because rabid fans are out there. But now that the entire internet is seemingly against Linus Media Group, it's a good
there's
time.
a few people defending, but yeah, it's that if you even go onto their Reddit, it's not looking good.
It's terrible. It's a terrible look. And a lot of people are reporting on the whole Madison situation. Like, you've got The Verge
Yep.
to who's, Tom Warren is covering this story. It's crazy. And it's gotten to the point where Linus has made an official statement, not like a definitive statement. He's made a statement saying that they're gonna do investigation.
Mhm.
And the CEO even hired an outside investigator. So it shows they're making steps towards looking into it. But it's it's a terrible, terrible look.
I'm curious on how and if I'm sure they'll recover. It's gonna stifle their growth quite a bit. I am curious though.
Linus or Madison?
Oh no, Linus, like LMG.
I mean, yeah, I don't think it's gonna stop them because I don't want to say they're too big to fail, but they are a very big channel.
I don't think they're
It
gonna
would be
fail. I think what's gonna happen is that it's just gonna stall them for a while. It's gonna take a little bit for people to forget. Unless something really bad, like, let's say if he did something illegal, and let's say Linus goes to jail, I don't think so. But if he does, let's say that, then I do think it will almost kill the brand.
Hmm. Which sucks too, because I do enjoy Linus Tech Tips' videos. Like, I don't really watch him for like super technical analyses, which I guess has been his main focus as of recently, and
Mhm,
it's part of why he established LMG Labs.
mhm.
But like, I really like some of the other videos he puts out, like videos about him trying to water cool his server rack by using his pool. I mean, those are some crazy videos that some wild video ideas that I don't see MKBHD doing that.
No,
I don't think
I like his out there videos, the ones that he just does crazy things for fun. That's what I want. That's what I want. I don't want him to go too technical. That's not why I watch him. I watch other people for super technical stuff. I want just I watch him as as an entertainer ultimately.
that's what he is best. Entertainment mixed with like some truths. Because like I mean, think about it. It's part of the reason why he stopped reviewing PC cases and stopped like reviewing not products coming in, because he used to do a ton of that in his early days. Like he would like get new products, he would unveil them, and like that's basically it, right?
Mhm.
And, like, he relegates all of that to short circuit now. And I think I do prefer the content where he does things, but I don't want him to do that, and then I don't want him to do that if it means, like, killing all of him and his employees, over that, because the grind mindset is unreal. It's
Yeah. I I don't well, and that's another thing is that, it's just more than him too. Like, there's a whole company. And what I would personally wanna see from this whole thing is I'd wanna see more apologies, more reparations, more honesty come out, more fixing, maybe even have him step away for just a little bit and just take a vacation, man, and make sure that, more people, because there's more and more videos coming out like, "Oh, the staff isn't as they're not as happy with some of the content they're making, maybe, and they want to spend more time in actually doing a good job and maybe refocusing on the collective as opposed to the one person." I do like watching him in the videos, but I also like his staff too. And there's just more than him at this point. He created something that if he tanks the company too bad or does something weird, hundreds of like 100 and what some people are going to lose their jobs.
he's I mean, I don't think Linus would ever get to that point where he would just let the company die. I
Yeah.
think he'd step away sooner than he would, take the company down with
Oh
him.
yeah.
But I mean, but even then, almost everyone there is like a known person on the internet. I think legitimately they could make it on their own.
Yeah,
And I'm sure
well, okay, that's not necessarily true. A lot of people that are camera facing, yes, but they have
yeah,
writers.
a lot of them,
They have a
yeah.
lot of other people that we don't see on the cameras. From a well, they kind of well, they he incorporates everyone like with employees like redoing their like they get sponsored by Intel or AMD or whatever it is to go and redo the houses, right? Those are always fun too. That's the content I show up for. Because yeah, at the I don't think he's gonna tank it either, but it's just I think sometimes people forget that there's more than just him when it comes to LMG.
Yeah. Also, I was reading the accusations, and there were a lot of really disturbing lines there. Like, is it okay if I read some of them,
Go
or
for
like?
it.
Well, first, I think the obvious is like the sexual harassment stuff. There's stuff like, hold on. Let's see. I was told to calm my tits, stop being such a bitch, and other
Yeah,
comments to similar effects. Let's
that's
see. There was also
that's pretty bad.
it is. Let's see. I purposely cut my leg open so badly I would have to go to the ER to get it stapled back together. And that was in response to not being able to take days off. Period. You see, they were told, and
Oh,
she was
oh,
told.
like if she went to the oh yeah, no, that's like that's a violation. You can't do that. Like
See, I remember
oh,
being told off for taking my sick days, as in days you're entitled to. This no days off grind set. I had to leave. Let's see what else.
that's so full disclosure, startups, period. So he treats this like a startup. I've seen it are like this a lot. It's very anti worker and it really is damaging to people, unfortunately.
Hey, that's the worst. I mean, I feel like, yeah, I can understand startups doing it, but I can also, but like a lot of companies will just grind. Like, I don't know about your company. I don't know what company you work for, but I know a lot of companies like to grind their workers to dust. Grind, like they keep working me to the bone until my bone is dust. Man. It's unfortunate, really. See,
It's
there's,
we're gonna get
yeah,
into politics and that's a whole other podcast for another time because
yeah.
it's so true.
Let's see. Let's see. I see. Let's see. I was asked about my sexual history, my boyfriend's sexual history. Quote, how I liked to fuck.
Oh, that's so
I
bad.
was, I was told that certain issues were quote unquote sexual tension, and I should just take the coworker out on a coffee date to ease it out.
I know that they did like some they had quips and stuff that they talk about in the entertaining videos. So I get a level like if you know like and maybe you need like I don't know what consent level needs to be done because I understand that like some people like to be jovial about certain things. I don't want to stifle everyone, but like, yeah, if you're in a professional situation and they did not agree to this, this is definitely very violating.
Yeah, and I mean, we can all agree that people are very different behind the camera than they are in person, right? Like, it's then like this is just the kind of stuff you cannot do in a workplace unless you're literally asking for a lawsuit. And I'm not sure if
Yeah.
Madison is going to like file a lawsuit against LMG.
Um,
I think I think if she has a I think she might have an actual case for it, but I'm no lawyer.
wh-
I don't
I am curious why. So, as long as you have some trails and talk to like, why hasn't she talked to a lawyer yet? This is especially in Canada. They even have, I believe, more protections than we do. Like,
well, I mean, this goes back to the whole issue with like fear of reprimanding, and it's not just reprimanding like her position at the office. It's not just reprimanding her and making her life a living hell in the LMG offices. It's also the fact that Linus is very well connected to many different entities in the industry, in multiple industries, I might add too.
oh, so she's left though a while ago, didn't she? Or she's still there?
No, she left a
Okay,
while
that's
ago,
what I
but
thought.
it's yeah, but
Is
like,
she still in? Is she
but
still in the industry then?
I don't know if she is in like I don't think she's in the tech industry
Okay.
per se. She's a content creator of her
Oh,
own.
okay. It still could hurt come back to hurt her a little bit.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's I think it's like for someone as big as Linus, it's a very like you would have to be vaguely interested in tech to be involved in LMG, right? Yeah, even if you aren't like super well tech versed or like an IT professional, yada yada yada, right? It's a terrible. I mean, it's terrible to really think about it. Like you have to worry about like the company going after you or reprimanding you. And I don't know if Linus would do that, but apparently it's happened before during her employment where she complained about being treated like terribly. And then as a result, they started putting her in less and less videos until I guess she sort of just
Eh,
left the company.
yeah, it's cutting like this sucks. I wish she had someone to help her with this, or maybe I don't know because there's also depressive states that can come with from this and all that, and depending on I believe her. Obviously, you can't. You have to have a trail in order to get a lawyer involved and to really win something like this. And statute of limitations occur depending on how long ago it was. It's but it sucks. Yeah, I wouldn't. This is
Ah,
the part. So the other one is like that's a big deal, but easily recovered. If this, who was it? Does she mention who it was against too, like the sexual harassment, or is it just multiple people at the company?
she did not mention names at all.
Okay.
Except for I think hold on, let me she did mention Linus for one thing. No, Linus, to be clear, Linus didn't do anything to her specifically,
Hmm.
to my knowledge.
Then yeah, if it's another coworker, yeah, then that needs to be resolved. And HR didn't. If they have an HR, I can't remember if they do. Failed horribly here. And if I was them, I would be really gearing up to do some type of deal or something like that, or else I think it could get really bad if she gets really too involved in this for them. I think it's just gonna, from a PR standpoint, it's gonna hurt them a lot because it already like makes me like you can't take care of an employee even from this side. Like, they had major issues. Some of the stuff is very uncalled for. It should not, especially if they're not consenting to that type of banter. Very troubling, and it makes me do think less of the company itself that they can't take care of their employees.
There was also some business shenanigans as well, especially let's see. I had asked and I'd have been told during my interviews that I would be allowed to monetize my YouTube channel and be allowed to join Floatplane in exchange for shutting down my Patreon. So it seems like they tried to have a hand in Madison's own personal YouTube accounts and such.
Eh,
Which at a normal company, this probably wouldn't happen. Like your boss doesn't go up and like try to control your channel, does he?
I I don't know if any of my bosses that I got a new job and all that, and even in the past, I don't mention this type of stuff. I say I kind of
Yeah.
do a podcast. I don't mention it 'cause I just don't want the drama.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like, it's very different because Linus is a content creator, and so when you're working for a content creator company, it seems like they want to have control over your stuff, I
Uh-huh.
think is which I think is very unconscionable.
Agreed. I don't like, non-compete clauses. It's probably a non-compete, and they probably asked during the, paperwork and all that, "Do you have a channel? Do you have all this other stuff?" And I know that, like, a bunch of people do stream and do still do content even while working at LMG, but yeah, there's probably some clauses and some control mechanisms in there. Float plane, albeit cool, is sad.
I could understand like if you're working for Linus Tech Tips and you also have a YouTube channel, and then you like go into the office. Oh, Nvidia just sent Linus like a RTX 5090, and then you steal it from the office, and then you make your own YouTube videos on it. I can understand that though. I mean, it makes sense,
I
but
I just don't like the competition stuff. I'm a very much like,
I don't.
just l
I don't like it
just let
either.
them do if they're getting the work done, just let them do it. And once this goes back into a little bit of politics, a little bit of like corporations and how they work. I'm not a big fan of large corporations or companies trying to take control of your IP. And they all do it. They all try to say, "Hey, anything you create, we own." Almost all of them do it. I really hate it. Um, yeah, so this also gets to me too. I really hope they didn't try to stifle anyone's creation, but it sounds like for just forcing them from Patreon to float plane is a big deal because people go to Patreon because they understand it, they recognize it as a brand, and she's getting paid from there. If she moves over to float plane, she could lose a lot of people, and forcing her hand to do that is just kind of like incentivize her. Be nice about it. Incentivize, like, hey, any money you lose from it, we'll pick it up if you go to float plane. I think that'd be a good way to do it.
And I think there was one phrase that really like had me questioning everything because let's see. So this is gonna be a long one too. I might add.
Go for it.
Let's see. So all right. So before I get to that, let's see. Also, apparently, some managers didn't like me because I quote hadn't gotten drunk with them before, which
Ooh,
which was said in this haha just joking, but I'm actually serious tone. But like I mean that's really fucked up. You can't say that.
can't say that. Yeah, and it is hard. Like, yeah, that's you can't pressure people to do stuff outside too of work.
Like I don't like drinking.
I like the occasional wine while I'm cooking some of my streams.
I don't know if Craft Computer is watching this. I highly respect Craft Computing, but I don't like alcohol. Period.
I understand and I respect it. That's the thing. I don't like to be told. I would hate to be in that situation because sometimes I just don't want to drink. I don't like. Oh yeah, you didn't want to go drinking with us. Well, I don't want it. Like I don't want to be in that position. So
Let's see. Here's the real like questionable thing because this tweet here does mention Linus by name. After I come forward about being assaulted, someone accused Linus of inappropriate conduct on Twitter. He came over to my corner and started berating her, calling her insane, mentally ill, an attention seeker, and just digging into this poor woman who had felt wronged by him.
uh,
And I
uh,
know who they're talking about because my community has mentioned it to me that Linus and this other content creator I should add from China has bad beef because she allegedly accused him of like wanting to go to a hotel room or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
I think there's going to be a lot of skeletons dug up from this, and honestly, if it directly relates to Linus, it's going to really potentially have to put him on hiatus for a little bit, or else the company can get like this is quintessential what companies have to do, or they can tank them. I once again still want to like hearsay. Some people, I always want to like see it roll out in a court of law or be handled because there's still false accusations that happen, but it's so hard to say in this case. Like that's, I mean, I've been yelled at by my bosses at times in the past, and whatever it is, like it doesn't feel great, and it's really looks bad on you.
It, I don't know, man. Like, it's a very difficult situation. I don't want. I keep saying very difficult situation, but it's a horrible situation, and that little statement has me questioning a lot of things. Apparently Linus has been deleting a lot of comments about Madison on their like latest apology video. A lot of people have been making comments about Madison's situation, and apparently Linus has been deleting some of them, or not Linus, but yeah,
It's
LMG has been deleting some
if
of them.
they probably brought in a PR. There's no way they didn't bring a PR group in. It's probably an external one to help it because I don't know if they have a PR group or like section of the company. I really wouldn't be surprised if they start saying, "Hey, you cannot respond to any of the stuff." It's just they're going to start battening down hatches because this is gearing up for a very ugly lawsuit if there's more that comes.
This is gonna be it's gonna be a very ugly lawsuit. It's gonna be a very difficult one to like watch because as you said, skeletons are gonna come out of the closet. Someone that was highly respected in like the YouTube tech space,
Hmm.
and like our friend the Fox, like he went to
Yeah,
LTX. He was invited to LTX, the LTX where they auctioned the damn block.
yeah. He's for
And
full disclosure, he's the one that got the block. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just.
yeah, but like that dude, he
I was just too.
Linus
I've
has
been
been
wanting to go to LTX for years.
yeah, it's fucking it's so hard to like talk about this because okay, it sounds weird saying that Linus is like childhood hero, but like he sort of is. I've been watching him for like years at this point. I've watched him since I was in middle school, and Linus was like he like I don't want to say he gave the best tech advice because even back then it wasn't really like
Entertaining. He was fun to
it was,
watch.
it was just entertainment. Yeah, I just wanted to watch. Like the like kids my age, and they watched
PewDiePie.
yeah, but yeah, like okay, I don't know, man. I don't know what the heck was gonna happen. I don't know what the heck is gonna happen if Linus actually comes out and like horrible, horrible things come out about him as well as like his staff as well. Because especially if it's any of the like main staff that has been on camera, like how terrible would that be? Like people that people like
Yeah.
Riley, Emily. Shit.
Luke.
Speaking of Emily Young, I haven't seen Emily Young since like at all. Honestly, man.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I agree. Like, I don't, I'm always skeptical these days, with like certain people. Linus has always been on my radar, like being skeptical, but I've watched a lot of his stuff, watched certain things. I'm like, there's no way like anything too bad's going to come from anything they uncovered. It just doesn't seem like it would. And that's where I'm like, now I'm at the point where I'm like, I hope not, because I just don't want people to be hurt at the end. But obviously, there was already one person, and I believe her, and I just don't know how deep it goes and who it's involved with. So,
Oh well, I mean, I hope that if they find the person that her was doing it, that they reprimand them accordingly, and that
yeah,
things can go back to normal. Because I mean, it's disgusting.
yeah,
It's already enough that people get abused at work for like doing like for I guess not doing enough work, so they say. Like the mental like the whole grind set is disgusting, and I could not deal with it.
yeah.
Like, you know,
And you're in YouTube. You do content creation, which can be grinding at times. um, Yeah, no, I fully agree with you. Like, just to kind of put the topic to rest, unless you have anything more you want to bring on this, I hope that reparations, like essentially people are brought to account for this and are compensated on both. Like there's multiple, and there's potentially going to be more that comes out in the next few days. I hope that everyone that's been hurt gets some type of, um just something to make it hopefully help them a little bit more. And on the flip side, that LMG changes a lot and actually takes more of this serious because they are to that level where they can't screw around or it's just looks horrible.
yeah, I think I mean, I have faith that Linus Tech like Linus Media Group will do the right thing because I'm not a pessimistic person. I don't think that everyone in LMB is corrupt.
Yeah.
And certainly I wouldn't want the entire company to go under because, A, lots of people lose their job. So, some people don't really have a side gig, right? And B, it leaves this giant Linus Tech Tips shaped hole in YouTube. And
Yep.
it sounds like a great opportunity for us, but it's just really sad to
It's
see.
I don't want it to I wouldn't want it to happen. I wouldn't want an opportunity to open up because of that. Um, and honestly, I want yeah, like, that's why I say, like, don't burn the company down. Other people are in it. Like, other people are in that building. You're gonna destroy their lives if you're not careful. But because they're at that point, there's a CEO and there's a lot of other things. Even though Linus does own the company, it does not mean he has the right to do whatever he wants. And if they have a proper PR that they brought in, hopefully, or HR, this will be nipped in the bud soon, no matter who's
Well,
involved.
well, I mean, I just hope that things work out in the end. So,
Yeah, I just hope that they're not like Riot or Blizzard, where they have a lot of those allegations that are hiding that are just surfacing, and then like Blizzard alone is like barely managing with all the crap that's happening. But yeah,
man, I don't know. I don't think I have much more else to say without retreading the same points. It's just
yeah, no, we can move on to Steam Deck stuff, the bread and
yeah,
butter,
let's
because
yeah the bread.
we've tackled this quite a bit. I think we've set our piece on it, and we think it's messed up, and we hope for things to change. But we also hope for things to change with the Steam Deck. I think Steam Deck news is a little stagnant, but there's still some cool things going on. Um, yeah. So, what do you think of the Steam Deck situation so far?
Well, I mean, the Steam Deck is the Steam Deck. It works, and I get to play games on it, and I guess I can't really ask for much more than that. Though I do have my grievances with the verification system.
Yes, you do. You've recently made a video on this too.
Yes, I've made too many videos on how the verification system just plain sucks. And like it I don't know the processes. I don't claim to know the processes, but what I do know is that the process seems to be broken sometimes, if not all the time. Like, yeah, there's plenty of games that are verified that still continue to work excellently to this day. Games like Hollow Knight,
Mhm.
Celeste. Much of any games that are verified will just work without any issues and probably won't break in some future update, right? But then you have games like I don't know, the Revenant. What is it?
Revenant 2 is what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
Revenant 2. Yeah, Revenant 2, a game that was verified but purported to run like, crap
Mhm.
and also while looking like crap as well. Yeah, in the low settings. And,
Yeah.
also Baldur's Gate 3 apparently is much the same thing, especially in Act 3,
Oh,
where the game, yeah, well, I mean, I haven't played the game personally.
I played it.
I
I love it. I played it on the Steam Deck, seemed to play fine, but yeah, it doesn't mean it plays in the beginning fine, later on it doesn't. It does.
I mean, I should probably get the game though. I've heard so many good things about it, but it's just
I had FOMO. I didn't even like Baldur's Gate 1 or 2 that much, and people are gonna hate that, but, I think they were interesting. It's just yeah, I played Baldur's Gate 3, the cutscenes, everything just reminds me of a good Blizzard game back in the day. I love it.
I'm gonna be honest, the only Baldur's Gate game I've ever played was Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, which
Mm.
is basically just Diablo on console.
Yep. I did like that one too. I played that with friends back. Y
And I've thought about it, and I was looking at the combat to see if it was like that, when apparently it isn't like that at
it's
all.
like
It isn't like an
XCOM.
ARPG.
If you ever played XCOM, it's like that. It's like
Uh, I
strategy click through commanding each character on a battlefield.
I have played XCOM, and I've also played Fire Emblem. I do like turn-based strategy RPGs.
Mhm. Then it's a lot
Yeah,
like those with its own twist.
I do want to get into it, but yeah. Anyways, the verification system is stupid. You have games that are verified that may work. That either A, work really well in the beginning and middle, and then break at the end, or B, just straight up don't work all that well to begin with.
Mhm.
They run poorly, and like And then and on the other side of the things, you have games that are marked as unsupported, and yet they work perfectly on Steam Deck.
Yeah.
I think the example I always like to bring up is DBZ Kakarot. It's a game that was rated February 2022
Mm.
as unsupported. And I guess back then it didn't work, but the Steam Deck has gotten multiple different updates.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
well, and you can continue, but I have some explanation. I can explain some of the system a little bit, at least how I know how it works.
Yeah, you can go ahead and explain it.
Yeah. So with the verified system, um, with every new patch to Proton, they better improve the uh, essentially the interface between DirectX and Vulkan, and that's essentially what it's doing. Is it's a layer, right? It's a translation layer, and
Mhm.
with that, there's two things that can go awry. In improving that translation layer, it can really screw up some other games that were not using the API right. And then there's other times where there's an update to the game where they change something major that they use a new portion of the API, or they do it a little differently that falls into the part that they haven't fixed yet and it breaks the game. So those are the two times that a verified game can become completely busted. Is just changes to Proton without any true regression tests. And how do you do that with that big of a library? I think they could do it, honestly, but um, and then also with let's say Last of Us, tweaking they had some major VRAM issues, and that's honestly something they could have fixed on. I can't believe they didn't fix it more. Um, by just splicing out smaller textures. But it's it's an interesting issue that all around. And I just ultimately don't think AAA titles are the best for the Steam Deck. That's where I've kind of started going. Like, even if it's verified, if it's AAA, take it with a grain of salt. Games tend to work better if it's an indie or something that's not quite AAA, or like not too intensive, I should say, on the graphic.
Yeah, like I can understand the sentiment of not wanting to play the hottest AAA titles, most graphically intense titles on the Steam Deck. I understand that sentiment. I just wish Valve were a little more transparent as to why they rate such games as verified when I think they could be, I think they're playable. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong, but like I don't think they represent the best Steam Deck experience. Like I think what Valve wanted to,
I if I was them, I would get rid of the verified and I would go with a level system, or like maybe even a letter system of saying, hey, this is like a C or B because it plays at 30 almost the whole game, and has maybe some interface issues but nothing big. But an A or an S kind of ranking would require it to be maybe 40, 50, and be consistently that way without any bugs or anything like that. I think that would be a harder ranking system to do, but the verified's kind of hurting them right now, right? Because some games just don't play well.
Like I would be okay with a 30 FPS minimum because 30 FPS, yeah, a lot of PC gamers will tell you 30 FPS sucks. Why isn't it 60 FPS? But I mean, the truth is that 30 FPS is playable, and this is a handheld PC. It's not your gaming rig.
No,
It's not your gaming
consoles
rig.
are notoriously almost always been 24, around 24 to 30s in the 30s. They're not like the older Xboxes. Any old console didn't do like 60. It was 30. It's expecting the Steam Deck or portable device to do on average a AAA title that's like 40, even, maybe even 40, but like 60 is ridiculous. And I is just delusional. You're delusional.
Well, honestly, I think like okay, so the Steam Deck is just a PC thing.
Mhm.
I think that really hurts the Steam Deck more than it helps because like people get this unrealistic idea of the Steam Deck being a PC, like a gaming PC that you can just play Cyberpunk at max resolution with ray tracing on.
Yeah.
I understand that people really should just temper their expectations instead. But
I
people
hot take. I think if you're gonna think that, like, I think some of the PC gaming or PC gamers out there just might need to get a reality check slash maybe go get some more schooling. I'm going really hard into that because you cannot expect something so small to do everything you want. Like, you're delusional.
that's what I was gonna use.
Okay, sorry.
But yeah, that's no, that's fine, man. But like, I just want to say that the Steam Deck, it's a great piece of hardware. Don't get me wrong. There's a reason why you and I, and some of the others have made so many videos on it. It's a great device. It's just
Not
people
perfect.
have people. It's not perfect. No, no,
Nothing
no.
is.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to be because what is a perfect device really? A game that plays all of your games perfectly at 60 FPS forever with better graphics every year. I mean, like, no,
Well, we
that's not
might get there. Who
not
knows?
right.
Like, the thing is, I'd like to see some change happen on the developer side. I want to see developers start targeting, and I've really done multiple videos on this, targeting developers like, hey, this is a serious device, and I think they're taking it more serious these days. You're going to get a lot of sales. You're going to do really well if you target the Steam Deck. There's a lot of people getting it from the console world because it's something they can just pick up and use. This is a big deal. Even with the ROG Ally, you these are big deals. Like, try to use these as your minimum specs when creating games. I'd like to see that as opposed to some of their weird cards that they come up with.
Man, I think that the Steam Deck represents the biggest change, the biggest like shift in PC gaming ever. Like, yeah, there have been other devices that came before and came after, but my grand theory behind the Steam Deck is that developers would start targeting it as this new minimum level gaming PC. You know,
Mhm.
it's the PC that everyone can afford, right? Like $400. Who couldn't afford it, right? Oh, actually, well, I shouldn't say that, but
Yeah, it's a
it's
little
like,
insensitive. The phone is the one that everyone can afford. No, but I agree with you. I named it as my companion, the perfect companion to my main PC.
I'm gonna tell you a little hot take. I hardly play games on PC anymore. Anyways, like I used like okay, like yeah, I still play a lot of like Diablo 4 as of currently, but like most of my gaming, like that isn't some anti cheat game or like some super duper hardcore. Like most of my gaming happens on my Steam Deck. Most of my like indie games, like I like hardly ever touched my Steam library before the Steam Deck, and now I've at least launched half of the Steam games in my library. Yeah, mostly due to content, mostly due to the content creation thingy. But like, yeah, basically it. Yeah, the Steam Deck is a great device. It represents a shift in the PC space. It's what I think the PC market could be at the low end.
Mhm.
And it would still leave room for people who want like the best balling gaming PCs at the very tip top, the custom liquid cooling PCs. I'd want to get a Steam Deck and one of those at the same time.
It's an entryway. Think of it as a like PC kind of entering the console wars a little bit, but they're going to get a taste of it. And the beautiful thing, this is the thing, this is why I'd recommend going down this route more than just PlayStation and Xbox, unless you need exclusive on there and they're like, oh, I only like Mario. I get that then. But you have Steam, you have these different uh, like Epic Games, all this. Like, you have ecosystems that you can play when you buy a new PC. And you like, who knows if Switch it 2 is going to be backwards compatible. All this other stuff. Like, you can almost guarantee that your next PC will work with your game library, which is a big deal.
Yeah, not to mention there's a lot of great benefits to, playing games on the PC and by extension the Steam Deck, Like even Nintendo charges for online. Do you think it's worth $20 or however much it is?
No, and then
25?
they charge for their raw, like for their emulation. And it's just, ugh.
Like I understand charging like, I don't know, $10 for like all of their retro stuff, but like
It's a monthly.
paying for
Sorry.
what? Oh wait, yeah, yeah.
No, their service, like,
But
to have access to, like, or it's maybe not monthly, but it's yearly, but to have access to, like, their Mario games and stuff like that that are retro, you have to pay yearly, don't you?
on top of like the online fee,
Mhm.
No way, that's insane.
No, I called it I it oh, that's I have a little bit of beef with Nintendo. I love Nintendo games, but I'm like, this model is so spit in the face of your fans kinda thing.
Well, Nintendo is no stranger to spitting in their fans' face. I mean, look what happened to the Virtual Console.
Mhm. Um, um,
But yeah, like okay, like Nintendo charges for online. Do you think that's worth it? I don't think any of their games have great online services. Like period.
this is where you
And
piggyback off of another service or something. I don't know. Or outsource it because apparently they can't do it.
yeah, and like Xbox and Sony have better online services, but those are $60 a year. That's a that's an extra game that I could be buying or, just pocketing in my bank account. And like if you play on PC, you don't have to pay for Xbox Live or PSN or Nintendo Online. You get to play all of these games,
Yeah.
all these online games without any additional cost, unless you're like playing Final Fantasy 14 with like the monthly subscription or whatever.
Now, if the company has to maintain a server, and for a long period of time, I get the cost, like World of Warcraft, a little much, but I get the cost to maintain server. If they were being real fair about it, it'd be more like a dollar or two a month. But I get it. I kind of get the whole concept of it, and even with Xbox Live, I kind of get it. Depending on servers and all that, does cost, but they should roll that into the price of the game, or make the game cheaper if it requires it. Yeah, I mean, go into all day about all this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so that's one major another major benefit is that games get cheaper on PC. Like, I can't remember the last time I was excited for a PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo sale because they all tend to suck, right? Like, yeah, put the PlayStation like sale next to like a Steam summer sale and like then tell me which one doesn't have the better deal.
I agree, but, I mean, there's also they have to think about licensing fee was around $10. So when you see a game on Windows, like PC, that's like, oh, hey, because you can go to like Green Man Gaming or something like that and get it usually $10 off. Part of that is they make about the same amount of money, but they can make it look cheaper because they don't have to pay the licensing fee. Oftentimes, sometimes they have to pay a little, like, and it depends. With Steam, there's fees that come into Steam, and so maybe I'm not correct in all that, but there are additional fees on those, and then they also control it. And I don't know the whole like if it's too cheap of a game, you're kind of screwing over the developer. So I have a hard time with cells.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's a benefit for the customer. They pay, regardless of whether or not they make the same amount of money. I think what matters is that the consumers win.
I
They get
Depending, there's
cheaper.
some
Yeah,
cheap games where I'm like, okay, this is like I don't know. And there's been
but
developers that have come out that like CD key, like some of the CD key companies like screwed them over. They didn't make any money off their game because certain things that happen. And it's like
like, are you talking about like gray market key sellers?
partially that, and there's also some non-gray market ones that have actually ended up screwing over game companies.
Really, really, like who?
Um, I I'd have to. I think who was it? I know someone else that was talking about this, and so I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I just know that like if you're paying, let's say this game's normally $50, and maybe it released 2 years ago, and you're going to pay like $3 for it, is they're not going to get much for that if it's that cheap of a game. Now, if you're getting like even 50% off, I think that's a good deal. Once you get below that, unless the company's made a ton of money off of it, like Valve sells their games for dirt cheap every time, but they I've already made bank on it, and I'm fine with that. Just depends. It just all depends. I just don't. I know some people they're like, I'm gonna wait until it gets to like 70% off, and I'm like, do you like the game? Are you gonna play a lot of it? Do you have a lot of money? Then buy it, because some people are just like deal seekers. Else, then yeah, I'm fine. If you can't, I'm even fine with some level of piracy if you can't play the game, and can't afford it, and you'll never be able to play the game. Maybe you'll play the game, and later on you can buy their next version of it, and they make a sell. I
Well, you can't say piracy. Someone's gonna come after you in the comments.
this last time, I don't like piracy. I'll say that I don't like piracy. I understand it to a point, and so
Yeah. I understand it too, and that reminds me, someone in my YouTube comments, I don't know why he subscribed to me, but someone that subscribed to me keeps telling me that I openly promote criminal activity such as piracy because I make videos about emulation, despite those same videos saying, "Don't ask me for links," and I don't endorse piracy.
Yeah, no, yeah, no, 100%. Like, you're always going to people like that that are going to be virtual signalers, white knights, whatever it be. There'll be people like that, but we don't have a whole lot more time. Let's talk about Steam Deck modding. I'm curious about that. Some of the cool mods coming out.
I saw someone solder on enough RAM for a 32 gigabyte Steam Deck, and that's cool and all, but I don't have much faith in my soldering abilities.
I don't either, but I want it so bad.
Is it soldering or soldering? Some people keep trying to tell me I'm pronouncing it
No, it's
wrong.
soldering. Soldering is proper way. It's spelled soldering, but it's soldering. Um, yeah,
Soldiering. But yeah, I
industry.
mean, I would love nothing more than to tear open my Steam Deck and potentially destroy it for content.
I've already kind of done that. I'm on my second Steam Deck.
But like, that's my Steam Deck. That's my baby. That's my launch baby, man.
Yeah. No, my other one work is the daughter boards, like the joysticks don't work properly. Or not the joysticks. It's like the Steam Deck's button is always being pressed in. And so you can't do much. I could probably fix it if I really dig down. If they had replacements for the daughter boards, I would have fixed it by now.
Like the left and right controller boards.
Yes. Yep.
I'm pretty sure, do they not sell those? I'm pretty sure they sell those.
I'll have to double check, but I don't think so. I was looking to buy a broken Steam Deck to just grab those daughter boards, but people are even selling some of them for like way more. I'm like, dude, I'll buy it off you for $50. I don't, but even the ones that I've seen that were like 50, like the daughter boards are broken. So I'm like, I need that to
I,
fix it.
I need a broken Steam Deck too, man. I have a extreme rate shell. I've been trying to get a hold of the Deck HD people because they said they'd send me a unit.
Oh,
They haven't. I might just buy because I don't want to go through the hassle of taking the screen off of my Steam Deck. I'm gonna it's a huge pain in the butt.
I got a heat gun now,
And
so it's much easier once you get a heat gun. Is shout out to the community for donating to get me the heat gun because I keep on using hair dryers.
I all I have is a hair dryer, and
That's what I
it's
used. It just takes a
yeah,
long
man.
time. Um, yeah, no, I really want that because I've been a proponent of that like since day one. I feel like half the community was like, "This is the dumbest thing ever," and I'm like, "No, hear me out. FSR is a thing. FSR is a big thing. Depending on how much power consumption it takes, which it's not going to be 50% more power just because there's 50% more pixels. There's a way this works. And I made I made a video. I never released it as I should,
There's a,
but
there's also another issue with Deck HD, which was never mentioned until a little later on. Steam Deck HQ mentioned it. Basically, you have to flash the BIOS to be able to use it.
yep, yep. And that's a
And
big deal. That's where in my video that I never released, maybe I should, is where I call it out. I'm like, this is a no for me if you have to flash it for the common person. Because if you need to go back, you need to do a lot of other things. That's gets a lot more difficult.
yeah, I mean, like, how do you back up? How do you back up the Steam Deck's? How do you back up the Steam Deck's BIOS? Because as far as I'm aware, that's not like publicly available, isn't that?
That's what I was also like, you're gonna need tooling for it. Honestly, at the end of the day, what I want is and seems like it's just they needed a slight um edits to the BIOS to just enable different screens. It doesn't take much. So it's not like that hard. Valve needs to come out with a fix for this. Personally, 100%. Their BIOS does not support this is I think they need to come out with it because it wouldn't be that hard for them to change it.
Yeah, I think Valve should do that, and
Mhm.
also, so also they got a lot of questions as to why they didn't go with like an OLED screen,
The OLED
and
is ridiculous, I think. One, people put too much trust into OLED technology in the sense of like, it's the next big thing. And it is. It is really nice. I have an OLED um uh Aya Neo Air. It's nice. It's a little oversaturated. I think it needs a better balancing. It's bleed, my eyes bleed. But if you get a good panel, you'd be surprised how good it can get. It can get kind of close to OLED, but OLED is not very prevalent for the Steam Deck size for 16 by 10. It's just not a common size. So it's really hard to source it. There's been many of Reddit posts on, well, at least one Reddit post on this that I've read.
Like I don't know. Like I think OLED is a worthy endeavor, or at least at least a better panel, because I think we can all agree that the Steam Deck panel is a very cheaply made panel. I mean, it's a
$400 device panel, meaning they went cheap
yeah.
on it because they were hitting a price point. Hopefully so.
I think people would pay for I think people would pay for a $700 like higher end Steam Deck.
Yeah.
It doesn't perform any better, but it has a better screen.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Some people, you could trick some people into thinking it has better graphics too, if you really wanted to.
you'd be surprised some screens, but yeah, no, if it was a 1080, let's say if it was, no, it wouldn't be 1080, it'd be a 1200p. If it's a 1200p FSR, like Doom alone looks amazing on a 4K TV. If you've ever plugged Doom Eternal in a 4K TV with your Steam Deck, that is an amazing game on a 4K. So you're going to get a huge boost in visuals if you up the resolution, even on the Steam Deck. Yes, I know that it's a 7-inch, but I think people would be surprised actually,
Uh,
in my opinion of this. Um,
let's see.
I have used other devices that have been pretty small on the screen, and um, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, another upgrade that someone did was they desoldered the Wi-Fi chip and replaced it with one that is Wi-Fi 6
Oh
capable.
yeah, yeah.
And I think these just sound like obvious upgrades that should happen with the Steam Deck 2. Like, yeah, I think the Steam Deck 2 should have a lot of things. Wi-Fi 6. I think they should have USB 4.0 so I can plug it into a GPU,
Hmm.
or maybe an Oculink, Oculink.
Yeah, the Oculink is a big one for me lately. I like it because it just has like, I don't know what, 30, 40, about 30% more bandwidth, which is big when you get into, and it has, I think, the bandwidth with that also lower latency, which is a big deal when you're thinking about an eGPU. Really big deal. Albeit, I'll be happy with the USB 4. Um, 32 gigs. It needs 32 gigs because the shared RAM, like it killed Last of Us. My GBD WinMax 2 ran fine with Last of Us part 1, but Steam Deck, just the VRAM, man.
Speaking of GPD, I think the new GPD device that they're showing off, the GPD Win Mini, I that looks very interesting because it's a powerful handheld gaming PC with all the bells and whistles, but like it's the size of like a 3DS.
Yeah,
Like you could put that in a 3DS XL. I mean, sorry, like you could put that in your pocket.
yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't know if I want to pocket anything. I will buy like an old school device and do that if I really want, or I have my phone. What I'm looking for is just a really fits well in my hand and I can carry it in a side bag. And that's Steam Deck does that. ROG does that. Yeah, I don't know. They're all fascinating to use though.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be honest with you, the only Windows handheld I've ever used was the ROG Ally because that's like the big one, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, like I don't get me wrong, I've always wanted to review stuff like the Aya Neo, GPD Wins, One X players, heck, even the AOK Zoe. The only one that ever got back to me was AOK Zoe, and they just ghosted me like after like 8 weeks.
Yeah,
They didn't
there's
come
so
back.
many reasons, and it's just it's hard. We're just right at that cusp. We had to do a little bit more and asked a little bit more sooner, or did it in a certain way that might have got in. Um,
The issue though is that see, like they're upping the requirements to get these devices, and we're not growing fast enough to catch them. Like, right?
because there's a lot of people entering it now. Like they see, like I think some of these tech channels too are getting more and more into it, and they only have so many devices for review. Like they're expensive. It's not like a game. A game almost costs them nothing to give you a CD key. Where with a hardware piece, it costs them the cost of making the hardware, which is drastically more. and tangible, right?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm still trying to work to get to that point, though. Yeah, I can't justifiably spend like how many of these release a year? Like five?
I don't I don't even want to. That is another thing. Maybe they don't give it to because I am a little hard sometimes on how many they come out with. You cannot do this. It's not a good model. And I've had people yell at me in the community or on my videos. They're just like, "What do you know about?" It?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, I do know something about product development, but in the Chinese market, it's fine. In the U.S. market, it's not good. It's just they do okay. I think, but I don't want to go down to this because we have to end this soon. I have my stream in like 10 minutes, but any last things you want to say on the modding before we get into the end of this?
I would be interested in seeing it, develop further and further. Apparently, someone is selling their services, their soldering services for 135 on Reddit
For the RAM?
for the RAM. Yes,
Oh, I'd want to do it myself though. Maybe I'll,
I don't trust my soldering skills.
I don't
My
either, but it'd make good content, and I at least have a job again, so I can replace my Steam Deck if I need.
yeah.
'Cause
Well, I mean, go for it, dude. I'm not gonna compete with you on that.
I don't. Well, it's for fun. Like that's what like doing content wise. I like streams. I'll do like I replaced my whole shell on stream. I had fun doing that. I like those are the types of streams I do the best actually, and I have fun chatting with people while I do it. So that's why I would, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, I think it'll be a great experience to, yeah, replace the Steam Deck RAM. I mean, I don't know, man. I think it's a great opportunity.
It is.
I
If I go and benchmark anything, it's gonna throw it off though. Like there's a lot of things that it could potentially just hurt if I want to do content if I don't have an extra Steam Deck.
just buy a second Steam Deck. You just buy a second. You could buy one of those refurbished Steam Decks that buy one of the 64
I
gigabyte models.
Yeah, my wife has one, so I can always use that. But it's annoying.
Ah,
It's annoying. I like to use what I have. Um, yeah, so I hate to say this. We're gonna have to have you back on because we're at the end. This is a been a pretty long this is the longest episode and it's been really fun. There's so many more topics we could.
yeah, man. Yeah, I should have eaten dinner already, but it's what it is.
Okay,
I guess I gotta eat now.
with that then, so we can get you dinner so you don't starve. We do you anything you want to plug? Within reason, of course, but anything you want to plug?
Well, I have my High Tech Low Life channel, and I also have the Steam Pals channel. And we're gonna be making a Steam Pals video either this month or next month. I really don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with it, but I think you know what I want to do with it. And I also released a video today talking about the Linus Tech situation and my opinions, which, if you heard this part, if you heard it from this video, you probably already know my opinions on it.
Yeah, or if you want the gamut of it, I guess you go. I'll definitely link your channel in the description of everything and everything I can. So, um, yeah, anything else you want to plug?
Nothing much else. Just I'm gonna continue to work on making more and more videos, and yeah, send me a link to this video when it's done so I can show my community.
Yeah, I'll send a link, and then if you want any of the shorts, so what I'll do is I'll break down a bunch of shorts and everything else, and so yeah, I'll get whatever you want. Um, this will probably go out Friday, just as a hint. And who's ever watching, who knows if I'll edit this out. A little hint to the behind the scenes. Um,
All right, sounds good to me, dude. I'll see you around next time.
okay, let's with that, peace out, everyone. We'll catch you next time, and thank you guys for joining us for this awesome time with High Tech Low Life. Thank you for coming on and sharing all the knowledge and experiences that you've had. It's been amazing. So thank you.
And thank you for having me on the show. And I hope things work out for you, dude.
Oh, I'm going a route that I love. So podcasting's fun. I just need to do the other video.
Yeah, good luck with it, dude.
Okay. Well, thank you. Peace out,
All
everyone.
right.
Congrats, secret level unlocked.
You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter to curb that craving for more. If you like this episode, then make sure to leave a like, rating, follow, or whatever the platform has. Also, make sure to check out our merch at shop.gamesrevealed.com or shopundead.com. Peace.